Every day, hundreds of thousands of patrolmen report for duty, armed with a badge and the latest in video technology. You are about to witness their never-before-seen footage, their stories caught on tape. Now on Disorderly Conduct, a driver takes dead aim at a deputy. A train takes dead aim at a truck. Cars take dead aim at other cars. And a biker takes dead aim at the road. If it's disorderly conduct you want, we aim to please.
You don't talk back to me.
Okay.
A citizen stops to tell a deputy about a driver waving what looks like a gun.
Red pickup truck. Okay, I'll see if I can catch it.
The Kingsland, Georgia lawman takes chase along Interstate 95. He's on the lookout for a red pickup in afternoon traffic just north of the Florida border. It isn't long before he spots the suspect, who refuses to stop. Once clear of traffic, the pickup pours it on and hits 100 miles an hour. The deputy has had enough of this and threatens to knock him off the road.
Pull your truck over, or I will pitch you.
The officer decides to ask him politely one last time.
Sir, pull your truck over.
Now the suspect is slowing down and waving something out the window. Next, he pulls off the interstate. The deputy comes up alongside and lays down the law.
Get on the ground! You get on the ground! Put your hands out the window!
The man refuses to listen, and the officer's suspicions are confirmed. The pursuit continues, but it's obvious that neither the suspect or his truck are operating on all cylinders. The driver pulls off again and comes to a stop.
Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck!
Other units are en route, but for now, the deputy must face the armed man alone.
You better drop it! I'll shoot you! You better drop it! You better drop it!
Suddenly, the suspect emerges holding a .30 caliber rifle. As he takes dead aim at the deputy, his pickup rolls onto the interstate. Moments later, gunfire rings out as the man shoots directly into the squad car. As the suspect moves in for the kill, the deputy takes cover behind his cruiser. Then once again, the sound of gunshots. With a loaded rifle pointed right at him, the deputy shoots the suspect 3 times in the chest. With his potential killer lying on the ground, the uninjured deputy waits for an ambulance and his fellow officers to follow up. When backup finally arrives, the understandably shaken lawman quickly states what he was forced to do.
I shot him.
The suspect is rushed to the hospital, and the veteran officer is later cleared of any wrongdoing. High speed and slick streets make this a very perilous police pursuit. The suspect tears through the streets of Springfield, Florida, with units from 3 different agencies hot on his tail. With traffic building up and rain pouring down, this situation could turn ugly real quick. When the suspect tries to avoid traffic, he nearly has a head-on collision with a police car. Seconds later, another driver is not so lucky. The suspect runs a red light and T-bones an innocent motorist. Incredibly, the man keeps on going, banged up hood and all. It's a wet and wild ride as he races across fields and streets in this normally quiet community. There's no shortage of close calls with both civilians and cops. Eventually, Mother Nature brings this guy to a stop. But it has nothing to do with the weather. He slams right into a tree, and officers are more than happy to block him in. The suspect is yanked from his car and quickly cuffed. In the end, the man will lose more than just his freedom. Once he's placed in the squad car, he promptly loses his lunch. A trooper on a rain-soaked freeway comes across a stopped car facing oncoming traffic. When he pulls over to help, he sees a horrifying sight. Another motorist doesn't see the stopped car and literally drives right over it. Amazingly, the car doesn't flip and remains upright. The stunned trooper drives up to see if everyone's okay. Moments later, the man gets out and immediately goes to check on the other driver. He looks in the car and sees that it's empty. Then out of the corner of his eye, he spots the lady he just ran over. Understandably, she decides it's safer to be on the street instead of in her car. In the end, no one is injured, but all are shocked when they realize what might have been. Disorderly conduct has only just begun. Coming up, a store clerk cools off an attacker. And believe it or not, these cops are saving this woman's life. All that and a lot more disorderly conduct coming your way. Get ready for a wild ride. Officers are in hot pursuit of a Dodge truck in East Point, Michigan. As their cruiser pulls ahead of the chase, check the right side of the screen. The suspect tries to skirt traffic, then loses control. The truck finally stops, but the suspect isn't about to. The young man bolts out the door, then races across the road into the back of a business complex. He's not about to be fenced in, so officers turn to the taser. The direct hit drops him. Then, something rarely seen in law enforcement. The taser's prongs are jarred loose when the suspect hits the ground, and he splits the scene. He may have escaped the taser, but he won't escape the law. Despite his determination, he's captured a short time later. It's the middle of the night in this Topeka, Kansas convenience store. There's hardly any customers in the place as the clerk calmly goes about his business. This guy strolls by and gives the clerk a glance. Moments later, when the clerk turns his back, he's attacked from behind. Both men refuse to give in, and the two fall to the floor. When they come back into the picture, the clerk has the upper hand. While he makes sure the suspect doesn't reach for a weapon, he yells to a customer to call for help. A second surveillance camera picks up the action as the battle moves to a back room. Things aren't going much better for the suspect, but the clerk is far from done with him. As he holds the man down, he spots something that should help him bring this to an end. That's a fire extinguisher. And the clerk puts it to good use. With a face full of fire retardant and a body filled with pain, the suspect probably wishes he had chosen a different line of work. But the clerk wants him to know that he tried to rob the wrong guy, and the hits just keep on coming. As the heavyweight fight moves back to the front counter area, police arrive. The uninjured clerk takes a well-deserved break as the officers take it from here. Understandably, the suspect is in no mood for another fight, and he's taken into custody without incident. It turns out the man was released from prison just 2 weeks before, where he was serving time for another robbery. Now it's a good chance he's going back, as he faces new charges of attempted robbery and battery. A distraught woman races down Interstate 80 at over 100 miles per hour near Park City, Utah. The chase began in Wyoming when police received a call that the woman in the red Toyota intends to kill herself. The seemingly suicidal woman reportedly suffers from a number of medical problems and says she wants to wreck her car and die. Up ahead, two unmarked police vehicles try to block the woman's path, but are forced to pull over as she refuses to slow down. She steps on the gas and her speed jumps to nearly 120 miles per hour. The high-powered cruiser catches up when the Toyota brakes as it squeezes its way between two pickups. Despite dropping her speed to around 70, the troubled woman is still a danger, not only to herself, but to everyone else on the interstate. The cruiser is right behind her as she rolls down the off-ramp. It's a perfect place for the precision immobilization technique, the pit maneuver. The patrol car slams into the rear of the Toyota and it spins out. The dash cam on another cruiser catches the pit as backup arrives. This chase has ended, but the drama is far from over. The unstable woman raises a knife to her throat. Police immediately holster their guns. The distraught woman refuses to get out or even lower the knife from her throat. It's a standoff that could quickly end in tragedy if she or the police make the wrong move. Suddenly, officers bust open windows with their batons and fire a barrage of pepper balls into the car. The powerful irritant fills the air and swiftly disables the woman before she can hurt herself. Officers grab hold of the upset woman and pull her from the car. The woman reportedly tells police she took a lot of prescription drugs and was looking to run her car off a cliff. She is taken to a hospital for a mental evaluation. In addition, she's charged with DUI, reckless driving, and aggravated assault. Don't fret, more disorderly conduct is headed your way. There's a train coming, and we're not kidding. And this rough rider in Texas is all over the road and off it. When we return with lots more disorderly conduct. An assault suspect is on the run in Henderson, Texas, and police know this could quickly turn ugly.
Be advised he's armed with a pistol.
As he leads the law down Interstate 259, he suddenly hits the dirt and changes direction.
Northbound, southbound lane.
It's not a good sign when the suspect heads right into oncoming traffic at 100 miles an hour. For his own safety, the officer opts to move over to the correct side of the road.
I'm gonna have to back off. He's coming up on a hill.
A short time later, the suspect at least has the sense to adjust his travel plans.
Okay, he's crossing back over on the northbound lane.
Next up is a terrifying tour of the Texas countryside.
He's gonna be turning on County Road.
Sensing there may be trouble ahead, an officer takes a moment to appeal to a higher source.
Please, Dad, just give me all my things. Keep us safe.
The officer's concerns prove justified when the suspect starts weaving all over the road. Then he almost takes out a truck. It's time to roll out a spike strip.
He just hit the spot.
The suspect may not want to slow down, but his car refuses to cooperate and loses a tire. Whether the suspect is riding on rims or not, the driver cuts across the median and once again heads in the wrong direction. Priority number one is to end this now. So the call goes out to pull out the pit.
Hit him now. Hit him now.
Moments later, an officer hits his mark.
There he goes.
The car careens into a ditch as armed officers rush in.
Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Get them up! Get your hands up!
Instead of pleading for his life, the suspect does just the opposite. The officers wisely refuse his request and arrest him on charges of assault and evading arrest.
There he goes.
It's not a pretty sight.
Be advised, there's a train coming.
A trucker got his rig stuck on the tracks, and now a freight train is coming down the line. A South Carolina officer wisely orders the man away from this accident waiting to happen. The lawman's words say it all.
Oh, this is gonna be bad.
The engineer hits the brakes, but there's not enough time to bring tons of train to a stop. The big rig is heavily damaged, and obviously the trucker has had better days. But things could have been much, much worse. The trucker had dropped off his load of brand new BMWs just before the accident. It's just before dawn in northern Texas as a high-speed pursuit races towards Wichita Falls.
Bob's trying to box them in, and they're swerving to the wrong side of the road trying to get back around.
Texas troopers try to box in a stolen car suspect as he races down the wrong side of Highway 277. When officers close in, the desperate driver cuts across the road and clips a patrol unit.
Okay, he's hit Bob. The vehicle has struck Bob.
Unable to escape, the suspect swings from side to side with a serious case of cop claustrophobia. As the pursuit hurtles down the highway, the driver flies both off-road and off the ground. It looks like the suspect is going to get by the blockade, but the trooper in the front tries to veto that idea. The suspect's car is damaged, but keeps on going. Amazingly, the suspect is able to control his car and maneuver back onto the highway.
His engine's not going to last much longer. He's smoking real good, Bob.
Finally, the lead trooper is in position to pull off a well-placed pit maneuver.
Okay, Bob's got him team.
The solid hit sends the car spinning and knocks the suspect to his senses. That's him surrendering on the right side of the screen. The man is charged with evading and aggravated assault. In the end, his 10-minute run from the law cost him 10 years in prison. Next on Disorderly Conduct, bullets fly as a dangerous suspect commandeers a police cruiser. And a cop has his hands full with a woman who really needs help. Stay tuned and help yourself to lots more Disorderly Conduct. A desperate man is on the run in Minden, Louisiana. Police say he threatened neighbors, then fired a gun while stealing a car. Speeds hit 90 miles an hour as the man races down the highway toward the tiny village of Dixie Inn. Suddenly, the suspect stops just to the left of the cruiser with the camera. Both the armed man and officers jump out of their cars. Seconds later, gunfire erupts. Off camera, the suspect shoots an officer in the leg and arm, then steals a squad car. We see another deputy fire back as the man flees. The chase is back on. But it won't last long. The stolen cruiser crashes 200 yards down the road with the fatally wounded suspect inside. Meanwhile, the wounded officer is rushed to the hospital.
Don't let me die.
Don't worry about it. You're not dead.
Okay.
Just a little scratch.
Don't let me die.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Don't let me die.
In the end, the officer survives the violent attack, and it's ruled that the shooting of the suspect was justified.
Pull to the right and stop.
It starts out as a routine traffic stop in Oklahoma City.
Go ahead and turn, please.
Until the driver leaves the officer stuck out in the street.
Pull up, please. Pull that car up. Get me out of the road.
The officer apologizes to a blocked motorist.
Pull me out of the way here in just a minute.
What's the problem?
Let me see your license, please, and insurance.
I sure do.
Let me see it.
You don't talk back to me.
Hey.
You don't talk back to me.
Already, things aren't going well.
I want to see your insurance, please, ma'am.
Go away.
Do not.
Now she kicks him,
Okay.
and he's had enough.
Ma'am, I want to put you in the car.
No, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want.
The woman seems very concerned about her door.
What's the problem here?
I have to lock my door. I have to lock my door.
The officer pleads for help.
Could you back me up, please? I need a backup, please. Alright, I got somebody coming. Outside level, please. I'll lock it for you.
I don't want to get up my door. Get off me! Get off me!
No, ma'am. You're getting in the car.
A passerby tries to help.
Thank you.
What have I done?
Well, you started pushing on me. That's the first wrong thing.
The Good Samaritan quickly loses patience.
That's enough, sir. I got help coming. Thank you. I don't make them like that anymore. I don't know what her problem is.
Finally, backup arrives off camera.
Talk about a fight, Jack. What we got? A little female about this size. Pulled her over for speeding in the school zone. She stops in the middle of the road. And I get on the PA and tell her to get up, move out of my way, and then she comes out and she starts going.
Perhaps that eyewitness sums it up best.
Oh, you're screaming. She's an idiot. All I do is write her a ticket for speeding, for Pete's sake. I don't know what her deal was. She shoved me twice, that was it. I just... Got camera on? Oh yeah, video.
The woman's taken to the police station where she finally calms down. She's ticketed and allowed to go home. A hot pursuit is underway in Sansom Park, Texas, when a motorcycle refuses to pull over for a routine traffic stop.
Path on the right-hand side of the road unsafely.
The officer stays with him as he calls the pursuit.
We're going to go back to the commercial district here, cross over the tracks at Cullen. We're going to be headed west on White Settlement Road. All right, he's going to cross on the wrong side of the road. He is still going west on University. I am still the only unit in this pursuit.
The Kawasaki bends through curves at nearly 80 miles an hour.
We're in some turns. I need to hold on to the wheel.
When the suspect runs into traffic, he slams on the brakes and is almost hit by the cruiser. The officer calmly resumes his turn-by-turn radio broadcast.
109, we're coming up on Isabel Road.
Moments later, the chase hits a dead end.
He's having motorcycle problems. It's about to wreck out.
If he makes it to the end of the parking lot and goes off the road, he gets away. But the bike breaks down and falls right in front of the cruiser. The suspect
Foot pursuit.
is off and running. The officer races after him.
109, I'm running through a park.
Minutes later, he finds the biker hiding in a house.
Hands behind your back! Ow! Put your hands back where I can see them!
Finally, the suspect is captured and charged with evading arrest. Up next on Disorderly Conduct. You can take them out slow with beanbags, or you can take them out, period, with a well-aimed taser gun. Either way, we've got it all on tape next on Disorderly Conduct. Officers in West Richland, Ohio, confront and try to tase a suspect who has been reported in a domestic disturbance. The man has already thrown a handful of coins into the face of a cop. But so far, they are unable to subdue him with tasers.
Get on your knees now. Now. Won't go through the jacket.
He's right. The taser won't go through the jacket.
Now.
Not to worry, the officer has yet another taser. And he's going to give it another shot.
Get on your knees. Now. Now.
Well, he didn't exactly get down on his knees, but this will have to do. The man is still conscious and tries to get up again. Not a good idea.
Roll over. Roll over on your feet.
The suspect was arrested for assault and treated at a hospital for a cut on the back of his head. It could have been avoided by following a few simple directions. Someone has stolen an SUV from this car carrier in Titusville, Florida. The carrier's driver simply wanted to catch some shut-eye at a roadside motel. But when he woke up the next morning, a black Infiniti SUV was long gone. Fast forward to a few hours later. Officers spot the stolen vehicle racing through the outskirts of town. As cruisers close in, the suspect takes the pursuit to the wrong side of the road. When police reverse direction, one officer loses control when he veers to avoid another vehicle. Troopers can only watch as one of their own rolls his squad car, then flips into a ditch. Some officers continue the pursuit, but right now the main concern is the condition of their comrade. He's alive, but he's trapped, and there's a possibility of broken bones. Finally, the jaws of life are called on to get him out of the cruiser. After 15 frantic minutes, he's rushed to the hospital. Now attention turns to capturing the suspect, who not only stole a car, but caused a cop to be hurt. He manages to escape pursuers after the crash, but it isn't long before they find the abandoned SUV. Then a few hours later, the man is caught hiding behind an apartment complex. He's charged with fleeing and eluding grand theft auto, as well as aggravated assault with a motor vehicle. As for the injured officer, he received some cuts and bruises, but is otherwise okay. Canton, Georgia. A distraught man walks down this dirt lane on the outskirts of town. To make matters worse, he holds a loaded pistol to his head. And he threatens to kill both himself and anyone who dares to get in his way. It all started when he attacked his ex-fiancée and drove off. Police later disabled his car with stop sticks, but he was able to escape into the woods. Now, things are as tense as they can get as the man leads police down this dark, rural road. Suddenly, he stops, threatens suicide, then fires into the air. As the dirt road turns to asphalt, police are becoming more and more concerned. There are homes up ahead, and they're not about to let this guy walk in on some unsuspecting family. Squad cars close in from all directions, but still keep a safe distance. He yells at officers to shoot him, and that's just what they do, with non-lethal beanbags. He staggers a few painful steps before his legs finally give out. Then he drops his gun as he collapses onto the street. Deputies quickly move in and bring this drama to an end. The man faces charges of aggravated assault and illegal use of a firearm. Next up on Disorderly Conduct, a police pursuit takes a sudden turn. And this really is a wild goose chase. More disorderly conduct is just moments away. A caravan of cruisers trails a suspected stolen car in Los Angeles. The driver took off when police tried to pull him over for a traffic violation. The car has no license plates and is similar to one used in a recent homicide. Police keep the suspect in their sights, but from a safe distance. It's after 10 p.m. and traffic is relatively light, but when vehicles get in his way, he blasts by them any way he can, creating his own passing lane whenever he needs one. He speeds along at over 80 miles per hour, jumping on and off 6 different freeways and losing a tire in the process. Traffic gets heavier as the suspect races through downtown LA. He heads north out of the city along the Pasadena freeway. The old highway is narrow with no shoulders, and he's forced to slow down and weave around other cars on the road. Just before the freeway ends in Pasadena, the suspect makes a sudden U-turn. He squeezes past the line of cruisers and takes off back towards LA. The chase has gone on for over 90 minutes and is now in the city of industry 20 miles east of Los Angeles. The car lost at least one tire during the pursuit, and the suspect is having trouble steering. He loses control midway through a sharp curve and crashes through a metal fence. The crumpled car comes to a rest just feet away from an electrical tower. The driver suffers only minor injuries, and officers quickly take him into custody. Police later determined that the car with no license plates was neither stolen nor involved in the homicide. But since he bolted from the traffic stop, the suspect is charged with felony evading. It's generally not a good idea to peel out right in front of a police car. But that's just what this guy did in Alamo, Texas. And now cops are hot on his tail. The driver travels down the middle of the road and seems oblivious to the sound of sirens. Speeds hit 80 miles an hour as the chase winds around this city on the southern tip of the Lone Star State. Up ahead, he drops off some excess baggage. There's a residential section just down the road, and officers suspect the driver may be headed home. Those suspicions prove right when he pulls into this driveway. Then he hits his garage door opener as if he's just returning home from a hard day's work. As an officer approaches, a concerned family member watches the action from above. The officer literally has to use his head to keep the door from coming down. As the standoff continues, 2 women enter the garage from the house. One of them convinces the officer that she can talk some sense into the suspect. After a brief conversation, she appears to pull him out of the driver's seat. Moments later, the man peacefully gives up. His next stop is the police station, where he faces charges of driving while intoxicated and evading arrest. An officer suspects something foul is going on in Kaysville, Utah. He's pretty sure he spotted a kidnap victim inside this car. More specifically, a goose has been stolen from the local botanical gardens, and the passenger fits the description to a T. The 18-year-old driver immediately admits guilt, but explains that he simply wants to give the bird a better home. To further show his love for animals, he points out that both he and the goose are wearing seatbelts. But the law is the law, so the man is taken into custody. But now the question remains, what about the goose? These officers know that these birds can be temperamental. And not to mention, a little messy. No one is anxious to place the goose in their patrol car for the trip back to the botanical gardens. Finally, all decide the best decision is to uncuff the driver and let him do the dirty work. But he has to do it under police escort and will face charges of misdemeanor theft.
Cherry Sunday.